The sculpture park started in the late 60s, early 70s by philanthropist and Chicago land developer Louis Manilow. It was a tribute to his late father, Nathan Manilow, and was donated to Governors State University in University Park. There are 30 sculptures in the collection that are situated in just over 100 acres of natural prairie landscape. The picture on the left shows a portion of our 13-acre newly renovated butterfly ranch. It's an ongoing conservation project where invasive species are removed and native plants are planted. Also in the picture is Gene Heistein's flying saucer. Yes for Lady Day is the sculpture that started it all. It was created in 1968 through 69 by Mark DeSuvero. He used railroad tank car, steel I-beams, and cable. Here's an earlier picture of the piece. And in our little movie, you'll see that the landscape surrounding it is a lot different.
Yes for Lady Day was created over a period of 2 summers while DeSuvero lived in a farmhouse on what was to become the GSU campus. That's right, this sculpture was here before the university. Louis Manilow, a prominent Chicago art collector and philanthropist, invited DeSuvero and other artists to come and use the land to make their art. The sculpture was constructed of salvaged steel I-beams and a railroad tank car cut at a diagonal ellipse by the artist. Its physicality possesses all the hard-earned swagger of a mid-20th century U.S. culture, while the title reveals Mark DeSuvero's tribute to the soulful and ultimately tragic blues singer Billie Holiday. Although the sculpture is large-scale, it doesn't overwhelm the viewer, inviting us to climb inside to feel the gentle movement and hear the creaking moans.
Okay, our next piece is a piece of land art created by Martin Puryear titled Bodark Ark. It was created in 1982. When Martin Puryear visited the sculpture park before creating this piece, he was really inspired by the land and the Osage orange trees especially. So he wanted to use the land as part of his piece. So the piece is created of earth, wood, Osage orange trees, asphalt, stones, and cast bronze.
To reach Bodark Ark by Martin Puryear, the visitor follows grass paths and crosses over a narrow footbridge at the end of a small pond that in the spring, summer, and fall is active with jumping frogs as you walk the bridge. After crossing the pond, the path leads to a catwalk to cross over the marshy landscape, eventually ending at a hedgerow of Osage orange trees. The path along the trees guides visitors under the cascading branches to a small bronze throne, with a view straight out to a simple wooden gate. 2 posts holding up an arched piece of wood, framing the view of the pond. Tall grasses and native flowers, usually blowing in the wind, fill the fields on both sides of the path. The whole piece is a quiet discovery as the viewer realizes they are within the artwork. Puryear's multicultural piece hints to his time spent in the Peace Corps in Sierra Leone in West Africa, his time spent in Japan, and his vast interest in Native American Indians. But Puryear describes himself as a contemporary artist that lives in the present, one that has respect and interest in many cultures, but is an artist of post-abstraction, not depicting or representing reality. And this monumental artwork needs to be experienced in person to get the full effect and to take it all in. What will you discover?
can see some school kids enjoying discovering the Martin Puryear piece. They always enjoy walking across the footbridge. Pre-COVID, we do school tours, and hopefully we will get back to that soon. I miss it. This is House Divided by Bruce Nauman, and this piece was created on site as well. It's cast concrete and was completed in 1983. Here is a drawing by the artist of the piece, and here you can see that there are 3 entry points into the sculpture. This side is accessible and this side is inaccessible. Here's some pictures of the work being created and the concrete being poured.
What do you notice about this sculpture when you walk all the way around it? House Divided is a typical Midwestern rectangular farmstead structure in all white. It has no embellishments. In fact, it's easy to overlook as a work of art. Nauman wanted to draw from his Midwest farming upbringing, so he fashioned this work in this way. He also placed 3 doorways into the corners of the rectangular form. Visitors walk through the doors, entering an unexpected space, finding it equally divided diagonally, making half of the house inaccessible. One is met with an experience of impracticality in form and immediately recognizes the lack of functionality. Furthermore, the doors placed in the corners means there is no place in the triangular interior to hide. The name House Divided references Lincoln's famous speech and sentiments about the struggles facing America at that time that continue today. When visiting the campus in 1983, Nauman said he wanted to make some kind of art statement and social statement. At the same time, not be overbearing, to force people into something they don't want to have to do with. By associating the piece through its title with Abraham Lincoln's House Divided speech, the artist forces a consideration of the significance of this unassuming work on a new level. In the end, Nauman challenges the passerby to address their curiosity, visit his house divided, and confront their expectation of where architecture ends and sculpture begins.
Okay. The next piece is quite a bit different than the sculptures that we have looked at so far. This is Paul, created by Tony Tassett, and it is painted fiberglass over steel and joined the collection in 2006. This aerial shot I like because it kind of shows you how expansive the landscape is, and that there's really a nice bit of space between the sculptures.
Acid uses familiar icons in his artwork, Paul Bunyan being one that most people can recognize. Usually, Paul Bunyan is young, strong with broad shoulders, and mostly seen with his partner, the Blue Ox Babe. But Tassett created Paul a little older, and perhaps having a little regret in his life. He was thinking of Michelangelo, King Lear, and Walt Disney when he created this 30-foot tall, painted fiberglass sculpture. Can you see resemblance of Michelangelo's work in Paul? What regrets do you think Paul has?
Okay, here's Michelangelo himself and his piece Moses, and then Paul. And I kind of like this example of showing the similarities in all. Although Paul is more pop art, and he was still referencing something classical. Here's a couple images of another school tour. This is 80 plus kids, and you can see how large Paul is in comparison to the group of kids. And really, they're not even taller than his boot. I think this is a 4th grade class. All right, Illinois landscape number 5, created by John Henry in 1976. It's welded and painted steel. This piece is titled Illinois landscape number 5, but it has gotten the nickname French fries over the years.
Illinois Landscape number 5 by John Henry is one of the largest pieces in the collection, but it uses similar shapes as the smallest piece by Joel Shapiro. John Henry was raised in Lexington, Kentucky. His father was a carpenter by accident. He built his home, and then others started requesting their homes be built by him. John helped his father with construction, but went to school to become an architect. It did not take long for him to realize his life calling was to be a sculptor. He finished his degree not in architecture, but in fine art, concentrating on sculpture from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Illinois landscape number 5 sprawls across the top of a low hill and is 134 feet in length by 40 feet high. John arranges linear and rectilinear elements that have been described as huge welded drawings. How many shapes appear in this one sculpture? Are you noticing the negative space between the steel? What does the piece make you think about?
Okay, this is really one of John Henry's best pieces, we like to say, but we really truly think it is. This piece is a horizontal piece and it really sprawls across the land. And John Henry started going more vertical with his sculptures. So there are not many that are so expansive like this one. Although the drone video footage is great and kind of gives you a feel of what the sculptures are like to experience, we hope that you will take a self-guided tour. We have an app called AutoCast. The picture on the left shows you what to look for when you search apps, AutoCast. And then once you get the app installed, then you have a selection. Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park is one of the selections you'll click on. And then the next screen that shows up is an overview of the park, and there is a pin dropped for every sculpture that is in the park. And there's also an image of the sculpture that you can click on, and you can hear a little bit about the piece as well. The sculpture park is open 7 days a week from dawn to dusk. There's ample parking, so we hope that you take advantage and come out and see the park.